The Dutch ship the Haarlem ran aground somewhere around here in 1647. Now recently, researchers have found evidence of it trapped underneath these dunes, and they're looking to unearth it. Now, 62 of the crewmen managed to, for a full year, survive in these dunes, a fact that influenced the Dutch decision to establish a permanent refreshment station at the Cape in 1652.
Check there was also a metal concentration there. And in the meantime, we'll go and check the deeper part.
Okay.
But if you could focus on this, but it is very deep. So I don't know how deep you can reach. I demarcated an area of coastline where I assume that the Haarlem must have found it. Proof of that, or support for that, was given by a manuscript map that is currently in the Dutch State Archives, and that shows a direct line drawn from the old fort of Van Riebeek across the bay at this approximate location. The length of the line has been stated as 1.5 Dutch miles, and that results in a distance of about 11.4 kilometers. And that is exactly the area where we are standing in now.
Well, we did several geophysical surveys, and those indicate that there are metal concentrations in this area. And this specific point shows a metal concentration, but also further down to the sea and underwater there is quite a huge mass of metal. And we want to explore what it is. Is it caused by an iron ship, by a wreck, or by the Haarlem, the ship that we're looking for? It's lead sheathing, and it was commonly used to patch hulls, to patch leaks in the hulls, but also to cover up any opening, like a cannon muzzle or a touch hole of a gun, just to make it watertight. And whenever you excavate a VOC ship, you will find masses of this material.
Om een of ander ding te krijgen, omdat...
Ik weet het niet, ik zal eens even vragen. Wauw. Die andere dag was ik nog niet onder. Of daar enige spoor is. It has clear cut marks in. It has boreholes in. It is burnt. And it has conglomerate on it. So that indicates that it must have been buried for a long time.
There's another piece there. What is that? Is that metal?
It is possibly associated with this wooden find. This is metal, and what I would like to have a look at is first of all its shape, and secondly if it is forged or if it is cast, but it looks to me from a distance that it is forged. It's still early, but all the signs are very hopeful. This in combination with what we found yesterday, those copper nails or tacks, the piece of lead, all leads me to the conclusion that we're looking here at a sailing vessel and something before the 1780s. This is a very interesting object. It is a piece of thread, of copper wire, and as you can see it has some flaws, which is an indication that it was handmade. What is very interesting is that the ends are tapered and bent. Now you can imagine that this hooks into each other and that you have a necklace. When the crew was here on shore, they were visited on regular intervals by local people, indigenous people, and they bought it. And what the Dutch wanted was, of course, provisions, which the indigenous people provided, but in lieu they would ask for copper.
I brought the samples from that shipwreck in Cape Town, and Bruno Wertz sent me these wooden samples that were found in a log that was excavated a couple of weeks ago, and they've been sent for identification. And what we need is to be able to do some dating on these samples.
Sure.
Radiocarbon dating. So we've got quite a few samples that I think they look like the same kind of stuff.
Okay, so there's something that you need to be aware of with this. When we do a date on this, we're going to get the date on the tree. That's not the same as the date on the ship, or the age of the ship, or the age of the wreck. So even within the tree, if you look at the rings, this inner part is much older than that outer part. And so when we date it, we would go for the outermost ring, because that's the closest date to the felling of the tree. We should try and date a number of different tree samples.
Yes, yeah.
Obviously, the youngest date is the oldest possible date for the ship.
For the ship, yeah.
And the more we get, the more convincing the argument becomes.
Yeah.
This is an interesting thing. Because we can sample individual rings here, we are talking about 1 year. So we know that we get the carbon that tree synthesized in that 1 year.